What's up, everybody? Mount Vernon Kid here, coming to you again. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody on the East Coast is safe because of Hurricane Irene. Uh, my heart goes out to everybody out there that just stay safe, as always. But in terms of this dire situation that's going on, I'm here to try to entertain you guys with this week's pull list that I got for my comics this week. One of them might even be a surprise to most of you people, but I have 12 books for you. Some from Marvel, only 3 from Marvel, a couple from DC, and 2 others from Independent. And speaking of Independent, we're going to start off with the first one. Booyah! Kevin Smith's Bionic Man. Yes. Kevin Smith and Phil Hester bring us once again another classic back to the, but this time in the world of comics. They brought Green Hornet. Now Dynamite brings us to Bionic Man. This is the first issue. This was a very good introduction to a character many probably have not grew up watching. Now, for those that don't know who Steve Austin, and I'm talking about not the wrestler, I'm talking about the character here. It was very interesting. This was very good. It had a little feel of Green Lantern in a way. Steve Austin in this kind of reminded me of Hal Jordan, actually. Excuse me. He pretty much did, and but it still came off really good for people who, this was a good way for Kevin Smith to introduce younger audience to Steve Austin who didn't grow up watching the show, you know, but it was actually really good. I can't wait to the second issue. Very good. Alright, so we move on from Dynamite to IDW. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yes, the Turtles are back in the comics. And let's just put it like this, guys. I'm happy for this. I'm very much happy. The Turtles, Kevin Eastman, one of the co-creators of the Turtles, writes this. And I'm glad to have him on board. In this, because it makes for some good reading. And they put a little twist on the Turtle legacy, but it's pretty much all just reminds you of the good times of the Turtle. A little bit of a darker tone as always, but still that love and feel of the Turtles. And it's just good to see them back in comics. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad to see that Kevin Eastman is involved in it. So once again, big ups to IDW for bringing the Turtles back into the game. So that's pretty much all the independent stuff I have this week. We're gonna move on to DC, and DC has a lot of final issues of certain things before the beginning of the, you know, new 52, you know. So we're going to kick it off with Batman, The Dark Knight. And I apologize for the lighting, guys, you know. But Batman, The Dark Knight, number 5. Now, Danny Finch, of course, does a good job on this book as well. You know, we got a little bit more of Etrigan in this. You know, Etrigan was getting played by Blaze. You know, she promised him, you know, she'd give him back his power that he's lost, even his rhymes. You know, if only she'd deal with Batman. He'd deal with Batman. Bruce is trying to protect an old friend of his from his childhood, as you can see right here, from her father, who pretty much sold his soul to demons. This is all about Batman and, you know, basically the supernatural and stuff. But it was good nonetheless. It was very good. Danny Finch's artwork is still unbelievable. But I feel that this book particularly should not be rebooted. It's funny that this is only into its 5th issue, and it's already being rebooted to #1. That doesn't make sense to me. But Batman: The Dark Knight was actually good. This was pretty good. Not bad at all, guys. All right, and the next book, I don't think people have seen me on my comic reviews review, but Batman Incorporated, #8, the last issue of this book. Now, all you know, some people might say, what, you're really reading this? You know why I'm reading this, guys? Because I'm interested in what Grant Morrison is doing with this. But bottom line, this book right here, this one, guys, this is basically Batman meets Tron. Let's put it like that. That's all this book is Batman meets Tron. And him and Oracle are in cyberspace fighting, and it's weird, but it's all right. It's cool. It's not that bad. Scott Clark's artwork is pretty good, but that's basically all this is. And once again, this is another book that is going, is only in issue 8, and it's going to be rebooted sometime, I think, next year or so. But it was okay. All right. Move on to Green Lantern and Emerald Warriors, #13, the last book for this issue. Peter Tomasi. This book basically is a crime scene. This is basically Green Lantern meets all the crime dramas you can think of, Law and Order, all those CSI, all that stuff, and it has Guy Gardner and Batman working together, and you know how they get along, working together to solve a crime out in space. One of Bruce's friends that worked in the space program is killed, and the Guy is also sent in to help. It's kind of funny because you got Guy like, how the hell did you get up here faster than me, Bruce? And he shows him, you ever heard of bat rockets? And you see the bat rocket right there. This was a good whodunit book. They're trying to investigate the crime, who killed this man, talking to all the other people on this space station and trying to figure out who killed him. It was just a good classic one-shot whodunit story that Peter Tomasi does very well, and not bad. It ended very well, but too bad, Green Lantern Emerald Warriors is not lasting, and just have to see how the other Green Lanterns books do come September. A couple of September, yeah. But Green Lantern Emerald Warriors #13 was good. Alright, and we move on to the last of another book that I'm solely surprised, DC, you did not add in the rebooting. I'm very upset about you guys for that. And that's JSA. JSA #54. Mark Guggenheim does a great job in this book. The JSA fight an opponent that pretty much pushes them to their limits, and it also, and sad to say, it also costs them the life of one of their bestowed and honored members. I'm not going to spoil who that is. Some of the members get hurt, in this book. Thought they were going to die, but they didn't. But yeah, one of them did die, and I'm not going to spoil who it is. One thing also, but it was a good telling. Also, the good thing about it, Mr. Terrific is back to normal. He's not. He didn't. His intelligence is somehow brought back in this. But it was a good book. It just ended very sad, very sad, guys. I wish this book wish the JSA was getting relaunched as well, because I'm going to miss the JSA. I really am going to miss them. Hopefully they will have them included later on when, the books start to really flourish or so, but I still think DC, you failed by not adding the JSA a part of that league, part of the relaunch. But it ended a very sad ending to this book because of the member who dies. But he went out like a hero. I will give you that. It is a he. Went out like a hero, but it's just sad to see this character die. But JSA 54, not bad. Very good. Just very sad. Very, very sad, guys. I apologize. Alright. Alright. Sorry again. We're gonna move on. Sorry, I got just adjusting the camera. We're gonna move on to next issue, and it says it's a book I've been waiting for the longest. It's a book, it's a 0 issue, but I've been waiting for it for a long time. And Superman Beyond, Tom DeFalco and Ron Fritz, as well as Sal Buscema doing the artwork on this book. It's the Superman of the Batman Beyond universe, if y'all remember, and what he's been up to for the last couple of years. This was really good. This was really, really good. I was fairly impressed by this book because I was really looking forward to this book, and we get to see a little different side of you know, what Clark is up to, the Batman Beyond version of Clark. You know, he's contemplating on should he retire. You know, he is feeling that he is getting a little bit, he's getting weaker. You know, he is older, but you know, he's still Superman, but he's still feeling that he's getting older, he's getting weaker. You know, he's feeling that, I'm gonna give away some things, like, you know, Lois is dead now, and that was pretty much his, you know, his you know, heart and soul. So he don't know if he can move on, you know. But this book, and an enemy comes along that pushes him to the limits to show him that this world still needs a Superman. And it was really good. I was very impressed. Very good, Mr. DeFalco, on this book. I was very, very impressed. The best part about this book is seeing the classic World's Finest together at the end of the book. I'm going to spoil this for you guys. Clark is... oh, before I give away a little bit of the book, we get to see an older Jimmy Olsen in this book. And it was really good to see older Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen runs his own, like, newspaper company, and he wants Clark to help him. And it was really good. But the ending is really good. We get to see an older, Clark is at Lois's grave, planting flowers and stuff, and Bruce comes out and he's like, you know, I know you're there, Bruce. You don't have to skulk around the shadows. Bruce says, I wasn't skulking. I was just paying you some respect. And then Clark says to Bruce, thank you for keeping Lois's grave tidied up, and he's like, she deserves it. You know, I admired her a lot. And it was just good to see the old Bruce and old Clark talking together. And at the end, you see Bruce says, Clark, and he says, yes, Bruce, welcome home. That was good. I love that. That was really good to see. But Superman Beyond 0, very good. Pick it up, guys. You may like it. All right.